Like fans prove their loserness so much all the time. And play, like, can you imagine being a player? Like, yeah, they're like, we're the best fans in the world, and this and that, and they do. And I think fans energize teams, and they do love. But at the same time, they sit on the plane after like a road win, and they're flying home, and they're like, those fucking dudes are such jerk offs.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm gonna need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things.
I got 2 phones.
Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach. That
is? Be the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.
Welcome to episode Chuck Bednarik. Get it? He wore number 60, famous Eagle, played both ways. Episode 60 of Birds vs. Boys. It's really hard. I was looking up players that wear number 60. Not a lot of good ones in the history of the NFL. There's about 3 guys in the Hall of Fame that wore the number 60. So not a great jersey number, but a great episode number. Can't believe we got it this far. Kmess here with you. Aidan is on the mic. He is doing double duty, recorded PNR, the best basketball podcast in all the land, and now is hopping over to football. Vince is recovering from shot number 2, so we may see him on the TikToks. We may not. He had his flu game last week, just being a bitch, food poisoning, now the shot, but he's in the background. Don't know if he'll man up and come out here. But Aidan, how are you? A lot going on, but not that much going on at the same time.
I'm good. You know how I know I can't be a parent? Because I did 2 podcasts tonight. And now I'm like, oh, I'm tired. Imagine having to wake up for a human life at 3 a.m. We're recording at nights at normal hours, like 8, 9 o'clock. I'm like, oh, my life is so hard. I had to talk twice in the span of 2 hours.
I was waiting for you to come on. It was like 8:54. My wife's yelling from upstairs. She's like, it's our bedtime already, and you haven't even started yet. Tell Aidan to hurry up. I'm like, wow, yeah, we are getting old.
But yeah, I mean, this is one of those weeks where I'm equally excited to do both shows because even in the NFL offseason, height of the playoffs for the NBA, and we have storylines in the NFL that we need to go over and just kind of just chomping at the bit to go over them too.
NFL is king, man. The NFL is king. All right. Do you have technical notes before we get into this fast-paced show?
I do. We don't have a guest tonight, but we do have one.
Locked and loaded.
Mm-hmm. So we have Rob Ellis of 94 WIP. And I could say of 94 WIP now, but he's been on so many things. Like he's just like a Philly icon at this point in terms of sports media where everybody knows him from somewhere. He was on 97.5. He had a show with our friend Harry Mays, which was fantastic. He did Philly's pre and post game live. And then now at 94 WIP where he does a lot of Eagles and Philly stuff. So he's is one of my bartender too.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Facebook friends with him. No big deal.
He has a great resume in terms of like Philadelphia media where he's not one of these hot take guys, just like guy's guy. Like when you build your metaphorical garage bar setup, you like look at all out at the neighborhood. Who do I want to invite over? Be Rob Ellis.
Yep. Well, and he just did a podcast, return game. I guess it's for the actual Philadelphia Eagles. He does it with somebody else, and the Eagles tweeted out, and they just did their episode focused on the rivalry of the Cowboys and Eagles, and that's exactly why I reached out to him to come on.
Wait, you're telling me that the Eagles now have a podcast directed and solely for the rivalry?
This was one episode. That was around. We would have to clean up shop if that was.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, I wonder where you got that idea.
Yeah. No, it was one episode. It's called Return Game. Rob Ellis is on it, and this one episode is it's called Birds, Boys, and Bad Blood. So I thought this was a perfect timing to have him on.
That title doesn't at least make you raise your eyebrow.
Somebody's listening.
Oh, well, someone can reach out. We have emails and phone numbers.
We do. And we'll talk to Rob all about it.
Yeah, we'll talk to Rob about it. So that's my technical notes. Also, follow it on YouTube as well. Subscribe, 5 stars, but also please leave the little thumbs up. Thumbs up, like Phil Mickelson on the golf course. Thumbs up on YouTube. And those are my technical notes for tonight.
I'm excited. So yeah, a lot to get into. Mini camps, OTAs are beginning for teams, Cowboys, Eagles. But before we get into that, I mean, I think we have to talk about the big elephant in the room who's on one of your least favorite teams, but probably not for long. Julio Jones.
Yeah, the elephant in the room is Shannon Sharpe's cell phone.
Yeah.
Because he is creating a lot of problems. That was wild. That was a wild moment. Hold on, let's start here. I have a question for you. Did you think that was staged?
Yes, 100% done.
Okay. Really?
Yes.
I thought
Shannon, they talked earlier in the day. That's exactly why at the end he said, "Thanks for calling me back, Neff." They already talked, even though he called him. Anything with Skip Bayless is a sham. Smoke and mirrors.
I can't disagree with that.
Yes.
I did not think it was, just because of how awkward the phone conversation was. I really don't think he was being taped. He did not realize that he was being taped. And a lot of people were like, oh, well, obviously it was staged because he would know that Shannon is on Undisputed every morning. I have no clue what time Undisputed is on. And I don't think Julio Jones, who probably wakes up as a millionaire and trains during the offseason, probably knows or cares what time Undisputed is on.
Yeah, you're probably right on that, but at the same, I don't know. I mean, maybe Shannon Sharpe's stupid enough to do something like that. I feel like that's like FCC guidelines you can get in trouble with. I don't know.
It just seems like, yeah. The only thing I was thinking,
it did exactly what Julio wanted it to do. It is stirring up all this shit. He already wanted to be out. I don't know.
But I think they already, they already knew that it was going to come out eventually. Yeah. I will say, though, how Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter, how salty do you think they were that Shannon Sharpe just called Julio out of the blue? And on their television show, he's like, yeah, I'm out of there. Like, how mad do you think they were?
I mean, I think right now it's definitely Ian who's more pissed, because Adam got the Aaron Rodgers scoop, and the more Aaron Rodgers talks, it seemed like his scoop was spot on, that he dropped the bombshell on draft night. And Ian got suspended this past year during the wasn't that during the season he got suspended? Can you imagine how just unbelievable that must have been for him to just be shut down for 2 weeks?
That's like when Woj had to take a 2 week because he told the senator to screw himself. Honestly, like, I feel like you're getting suspended when you do that. So
yeah, maybe he was going on vacation.
He was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do it, and I don't care if I get suspended. But Ian Rappaport, that was like the middle of the season, so he was probably really pissed off. And then the poor Falcons intern, who probably makes entry-level salary, who had to tweet out a blog as if they were www.thebrandedsports.com from the Falcons page, being like, Julio said on a TV show that he doesn't want to be here anymore.
Oops.
That poor guy.
I know.
Woman. I don't know.
Or I don't even know if man, woman, whatever they want to be. The intern.
The intern, whatever entry-level 24-year-old out of school had to
imagine if it was
Arthur
Blank. Arthur Blank did it himself. Just like went down to his back cave.
That guy doesn't know that they have a blog. No chance.
That guy doesn't know anything. He just knows how to pump fake crowd noise into a stadium.
Yes.
Louder.
Nice suits.
Louder. I can't hear. Maybe that's why. Maybe it wasn't a competitive advantage. He just couldn't hear. So he just kept saying louder.
Yeah. It was until it was loud enough for him. It was already too loud for everybody else.
Yes. Can't hear it.
So
all right.
The other thing that he says on the show. Oh, you're shaking your head. Oh, no.
Why? Yeah.
He doesn't want to go to the Cowboys. And it was the way he said it that I liked it.
He was literally
from the
just
heart.
wearing a Cowboys sweatshirt that
Ah.
seemed very. Yeah, but no, I didn't like it. I don't want Julio Jones on the Cowboys. Cowboys don't need Julio Jones for his, to play 8 games, 600 yards and 1 touchdown. Okay, it just seemed this was him wearing the sweatshirt and taking a picture of a fan. Like that was the beginning, and it was just very fake to me.
Your fan base and their shiny new toys just always want something new.
No, I don't want
Can't
any
be satisfied with what you have.
Give me Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and Feuco.
Yes,
good
but
on
you're
Julio
reasonable,
Jones.
and you have to assume that 95% of people will be unreasonable.
Oh yeah, did I not tweet this past week that I hate my fan base? Like
yes.
I find that tweet, Vince. I hate them. I hate all of you, except for the ones that listen and love me. I love you.
Yeah, I was about to say, could we put a little asterisk? Except for the people who take solace and listen to the show every week.
Somebody tweeted me back and said the worst part about being a Cowboys fan is not winning a Super Bowl for the last 25 years. It's other Cowboys fans. And I was like, yep, that's it.
No, it's definitely the Super Bowl thing.
I've seen 3 in my life. I'm good right now.
Oh my God. Fine. It's much more fun when you're talking to a 25-year-old Cowboys fan because they've never seen anything.
Yes.
Anybody our age has never seen a damn thing. Literally never been a conference championship. But I'm like you, like, okay, Julio and the Cowboys, how does that make sense? What would they give up for a team who still needs to rebuild their defense and they already have Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup? Like,
yep.
Yeah, it would be fun, but why would that make sense? Where's the logic in making that move? Aside from him having that hoodie on was the only thing.
It makes no sense. None. Zero.
I
don't want that contract. The Cowboys don't yes, they made the trade for Amari Cooper. And that was basically their first round draft pick that year. But they don't play big money in free agency, and they usually don't do trades. It's just that's not what they do now. We know their philosophy, and that's not it. They're trying to shed salary right now. Do you
think that Cowboys fans would even be this excited or hype or wanting him if it weren't for the picture? Like if it wasn't, if there was no picture and there was just that interview with Shannon Sharpe, I'm sorry, that phone interview, quote unquote, where he says, I want out of Atlanta. Do you think fans would even want him?
Nope. Some may, yes, but it wouldn't even have crossed my mind for a half a second.
Well, I guess every fan base would be like, oh, and Vince is pulling up the picture of him right now in the Dallas Cowboys hoodie.
I love this too. This idiot fan wearing a Cowboys jersey. It's clearly a sweatshirt.
Yeah. Who wears a jersey in public unless you're going to a game?
Yeah, and I don't think an actual NFL player is going to wear somebody else's jersey.
I would love to know why Dick Mountain is trending. Don't know what that is related to, but it popped up with the picture.
No,
and it's in
idea.
Baseball in MLB.
Oh, is that a player?
It's a pitcher, and his name is Dick Mountain.
Dick Mountain. What a
wow!
Dude.
How did we not know about that?
Yeah, Dick Mountain has been hard on the Royals tonight.
He has 10 strikeouts. He's 41 plus years old.
No, I think he has 13 strikeouts. Go up.
Yeah, well, that's
12th and 13th.
12th and 13th. I read the tweet that said only on 10Ks. And that is, what was your former baseball podcast?
Crowding the Plate.
Crowding the Plate minute here on Birds vs. Boys.
Vince, text the branding group that someone needs to tweet about Dick Mountain immediately, please. Thank you. But yeah, I mean that right there, that's an idiot Cowboys fan that doesn't know the difference between a jersey and a sweatshirt. Surprised he even knew it was Julio Jones, to be honest with you. But I mean, Julio's been training in the Dallas area, right? He's been training with Derrick Henry. I think Amari Cooper a little bit. He probably was like, yo, Coop, I need a sweatshirt or something. And he probably just had that in his truck.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got
also
turned
a lot
into
of Bama guys.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper, Trayvon Diggs, Julio went to Alabama. It's definitely I got the sweatshirt and I'm wearing it because I don't care.
I don't give a shit. So
because we as like 6'1" white guys who didn't sniff the NFL passionately care. Like you can't
6'1".
wear. Okay, well, do you
All
want me
of
to
us
put
6'1" white guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. But listen, I elevated you guys up. You could have just said you should have been on a don't ask, don't tell policy.
5'7".
Not said anything and let me go with it. And just came along for the ride. But we're like passionate as fans. We care about that stuff. Like, oh, you can't be caught in another team's colors. I guarantee you that a wide receiver for the Falcons does not care about stupid stuff like that.
Not at all. Like fans prove their loserness so much all the time. And play, like, can you imagine being a player? Like, yeah, they're like, we're the best fans in the world, and this and that, and they do. And I think fans energize teams, and they do love. But at the same time, you know, they sit on the plane after like a road win, and they're flying home, and they're like, those fucking dudes are such jerk offs. Like talking about that way.
Are we as fans, or do we just have a ton of losery habits that
Yes.
players don't care about at this point?
Absolutely, fans are losers.
Really puts into perspective just how little we actually matter. We're
we're
like little stars in the solar system.
Like, imagine being like the license plate guy or like the big fucking whistle guy in New Orleans. Like, can you imagine how much your life must stink?
Or like if you paint your face.
Yeah, like all that.
Per
like,
game.
Like I go to games and I pre-COVID and I enjoy it, and I'll wear like a hoodie and maybe a hat and drink a beer, but like, yeah, or like the Raiders or no, the worst is the pig women thing in Washington. I don't know if they're allowed to do that now. Or you don't have to look at me. It's a real
I didn't
thing.
know where. Oh, I didn't know
up.
where you were going at first, and then I forgot about that.
I forget what they're called, like the oink people or something. They wear the noses. They get dressed up in dresses. Like, what are we doing? It's a football game.
That's one of those. In 10 years, they're going to take that out of context, not take any of what we just said about different fans and how they dress up, and it's just going to be you saying pig women, and we're going to be canceled. And we're like, oh, that Birds versus Boys, they should lose all their sponsorships.
All right, Vince,
and we'll have to put out some half-assed apology.
Bleep out the
Here
woman
they are.
part. Yeah. What are they called? The Hogettes. They're probably not allowed to do that anymore, to be honest with you, in 2021.
Probably not. Especially because Washington literally doesn't have a mascot.
Maybe they should just be the Hogettes, the Washington Hogettes. Maybe that should be
there we go.
team name.
We solved this year-long problem that Washington has had. They are now the Hogettes.
Like, can you imagine dressing up like that and going to a football game?
No.
Or like wearing full pads, like the Raider people? Like, what are we doing, guys?
Because if you lose, you look like an absolute moron. Even
like
if you win, you
fool.
probably still look like a moron.
Yes, fans are losers. Like the extreme fans.
Can we touch on our fan base for a second for the Eagles? Can we give ourselves a pat on the back? I think we've been pretty tame with the Julio Jones situation.
Very much so.
The only things I saw is I read an article about how the money would have to work to even do a deal. And then I saw an article that just mentioned that we were in the betting odds for Julio Jones. But nothing like we're getting Julio Jones. This is like Julio Jones is coming, anything like that.
Nope.
Maybe we are learning. We have turned a new leaf as fans. We're not chomping at the bit for some star on the market and just blindly assuming he'll be an Eagle based off wild internet theories. And maybe we have grown. Maybe we've learned from the past few years. Which,
I mean, I need to give credit where credit is due, because I have not heard like anything. And usually it's like Aidan Powers could be on the move. He's going to be an Eagle. You don't even know anything about him. He's never played football, but he's coming to Philly.
Which only means one thing. Julio will be an Eagle. Because just when you thought you were out, they pull you back in. It would be so fitting for the one time that we don't get excited for a start that he actually ends up on the team. It's like when you say to yourself, oh, I'm not drinking tonight. I'm going to study. I'm going to get a good night's rest for work. And your buddies come over and you're like, all right, I'll have one beer. And then it turns out to be just booze fest. One of the best
Pounding.
nights of your life.
Uh-huh.
That's exactly where we're at. We've learned we're just going to stay low key, just have an easy night, get a good night's rest. Then all of a sudden we're going to go on a rager just when you thought we were out. And the last thing, think about it.
Would you have to
Go
bring
ahead.
Nick Saban in then to coach?
Yeah. I'd love to see the Philly media with Nick Saban because he wouldn't put up with any of the BS.
Nope. Nothing.
He'd actually be, if he ever went back to the NFL, this would be the perfect place because he would shut them up and no one would be able to do this nonsense that they do with these other coaches.
Yep. And it's just, I mean, it would be Philadelphia Crimson Tide if that happened.
I'm
Dickerson,
okay with that.
Yeah. After not drafting an Alabama player for 100 years, now they're just gonna be Alabama.
If you didn't go to LSU, Alabama, or Clemson, I don't care. Don't care. That's my status after this.
Wow.
I've learned the hard way. Just go get players from good schools, and they'll probably be good.
Really shows your love for Micah Parsons and Penn State.
Penn State's a good school, though.
Mm-hmm.
They're a top 10 school. They're always they're always like 5-6 in the playoffs. Not this year, they're awful, but recently, they played in the Rose Bowl. So, one more thing on the Eagles and Julio. I shouldn't have said it that way. It's gonna look bad. But anyway, think about it. What if we had Julio Reagor, and then we had Julio Jones, and Julio Jones could teach Julio Reagor, and then Julio Reagor becomes Julio Jones because they play together. How about that?
Enter the meme of the guy just sitting there with just everything around his face, and he's thinking.
Well, yeah, and the one where it's like the brain, and it's like it lights up a little bit, and it's like Jaylon Reagor. Be like Julio Reagor looking like. Or Jalen Reagor looking like Julio Jones. Julio Jones playing for the Eagles. Julio Jones and Julio Reagor.
Julio Reagor together with the Slim Reaper.
Yeah, with Devontae Smith, it's just illuminated brain. Full capacity.
And Carson Wentz is gone.
Also, didn't have this on the list to talk about tonight. My guy, basketball player.
Baller.
Jumper is wet. Look like Devin Booker out there going toe-to-toe with a former Division I basketball player. My guy. I'm so happy for him. It's like my son who's older than me has grown up.
Twitter is the greatest place in the world. Some guy was like, why in the world would the organization let them do this? And people just crushed the guy. He's like, it looks like an ACL tear waiting to happen. And then people were just destroying the guy. Like,
yeah,
somebody was like, have you ever played 1 second of an organized sport?
No. That's the problem with 90% of sports Twitter. You've never stepped foot on a field or a court or anything. Please stop talking.
Never been on a team. You don't understand what it means to actually that moment for those guys. Like, they're going to talk about that all season long.
Yeah, and did you see all the headlines that came out from that? It was like Carson looks happy, and this team looks like they really get along. And it was just like, and then they asked all the players, like, "Hey, you guys all seem to be getting along." And they like Michael Pittman was like, "I don't know where these rumors that Carson's a bad teammate are coming from." After that, so yeah, it's pretty.
It's almost like Frank Reich knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
who would have thought?
Who would have thunk it?
Frank Reich maybe knows how to run a locker room. Maybe.
Don't know.
Before we get too far off of Julio Jones, though, I actually have something like of value to add to this podcast for once.
You mean you saying thunderstorm is one of your favorite days wasn't adding value?
I mean, if you want to go off TikTok numbers wise, it's value. But so I was big on it wasn't staged. I'm so anti-conspiracy all the time. I'm like, it's never a conspiracy theory. You're giving people too much credit. But then I remembered something from school. So I actually learned something in school. So there's this law called two-party consent. That means both sides of a recording have to know that they're being recorded. And California, where Undisputed is filmed, is a two-party consent state. So if Julio didn't know he was being recorded, it's literally a crime. So,
Here's the
And
thing.
if I'm sitting here and I know that, the producers of that show know that, and they would have told him to hang up the phone.
Yep.
No, they wouldn't have. No, they wouldn't have. First of all, do you think Shannon Sharpe knows that law? No.
No, but
God,
the
no.
Second
producers
of all,
that were like,
I'm sure they were. Do you think?
hung up?
Think about the ratings that they got from that. What's the worst that could happen to them?
Was
$2,500 fine and/or imprisonment up to a year.
Okay. Yeah.
it was fake.
The world will never know. It's like Area
I don't know.
51. Although I'm pretty sure Area 51 is real.
Shannon talked to Julio at 7 a.m. and goes, "Hey Neff, I'm gonna call you in 2 hours. Answer the phone. We're gonna be live." Okay.
Oh,
Act
hey,
awkward.
see,
Act like
that would never
it's-
work for me because if you tell me to be ready in 2 hours, I will absolutely forget to answer my phone in 2 hours. Not a chance that I remember that.
Now I don't know though, because is Julio Jones that good of an actor?
No, that's what I'm saying. You're two guys
No, I don't
who
know
it's like
again.
are these masterminds, Julio Jones and Shannon Sharpe, going to pull off this stunt, this stage stunt?
That's because Skip was behind it and the show was behind it. And it was rehearsed.
We don't have to do a full deep dive, but it is a great conspiracy theory. I see both sides. I genuinely see both sides.
Yep.
So we talked about Carson Wentz and his jumper and the Colts and how they are happy and healthy and hunky dory. Do you want me to get my quick Eagles mini camp points out of the way? Because Nick Sirianni came from there and it seems like very similar vibes.
Yeah, and make sure before you get into that you stick around because our TikToks may or may not involve Julio Jones tonight later in the program.
Who would have thunk it?
Real quick, Georgia is not a two-party consent state, so you don't have to tell them you're recording. So I'm back on the.
Well,
it was real.
was he
anyway.
in Georgia?
I don't know. Maybe.
Why
Probably
don't you
doesn't.
look up where he was training at and then report back to us on the state that he was training at and whether it's legal there? And I think he probably was training in Texas. And I mean, do they even have laws in Texas? I just saw that you could carry a gun with like nothing. Like you can just buy it and that's that. So
Texas is also one party. So
what a shock.
if he was in Texas or Georgia, he's allowed to not know he's being recorded.
Which is wild.
It is.
Which is wild. All right, let's put Julio on the back burner until the end of the show. Let's talk some mini camp. I'll do my Eagles points first because you talked about the vibes with the Colts, and Nick Sirianni is like really about the same vibes where he just seems like a really positive, upbeat person. I loved him dapping up the media members. That'll inevitably backfire because they'll just be rude to him and write falsified stories and draw up conspiracies and controversy. So that'll end up backfiring. But I mean, he just seems like a great guy. Another thing that they did practiced in the black uniforms, which looked awesome. And I think people just like loved it. I'm not going to say anything mean, but there's a lot of mean things I could say about some people in there, but I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I don't want to ruffle any feathers with some of the people in that crowd.
We're not here to
But
ruffle.
anyway, we're not here to ruffle. So the practicing in black uniforms, like it just seems like there's like positive vibes, which is refreshing because it's not something that we shared for literally all of last year. It's just everyone feels refreshed. I heard Jalen Reagor talking about the coaching staff and just kind of being like, and what we've seen from Sirianni is like, do this, but here's why you need to do this. You know, It's not just coach speak. It's like, you're 23 and we're trying to tell you what to do, but not just what to do, why you're doing it, which I think is so important in coaching. And I guess that's been a real emphasis of the coaching staff. They had Devontae Smith, Kenny Gainwell, Reagor again, and Quez Watkins all taking like running back snaps and doing jet sweeps and stuff like that, which was cool. So it's just like upbeat, positive, refreshing vibes there, which is really nice to see for once.
It's a change.
It was a needed change. Yeah.
Instead of just ice cream breaks.
Yeah. And you can see them running routes there today. and they were with Jalen Hurts, and it was just cool to see all of them out there. And honestly, like even against no players, watching Devontae Smith run routes is fun. So it was cool. I'm sure you're going to say the same thing when we talk about the Cowboys. It's just fun to like see them on the field in some aspect.
Yep.
And just feels like the both of us had pretty rough years last year, and this is the beginning of turning the page from that. Is mini camps like today?
Yep, like me seeing Keanu Neal walking out on the practice field in a Cowboys jersey for the first time got me excited.
Pretty cool. Let's jump over them. Let's do Cowboys.
All right,
Keanu Neal comes out on the field, pretty electric.
Yeah, that very electric, and KZ as well, the other safety coming from Atlanta. They said he looks like he is a full 100% recovery from the Achilles tear. He was making plays all over the field, which I'm also excited about because Cowboys really haven't had a free safety that has range or can actually ball hawk a bit, and he can. So I'm excited to see what he can bring. But obviously the number one thing coming out of OTAs right now is Dak Prescott, right? He is back on the field. He says he has no limitations. He did individual drills and then 7-on-7 as well. I think the reason they do the 7-on-7 instead of the full team drills with him is just when you run 7-on-7s, there's no offensive line, there's no defensive line. So it's taking any possibilities of bodies around him away. So I'm completely fine with that.
Mitigating risk is what they were doing there.
Yes,
Not even the possibility of someone tripping and falling into his leg.
Yeah, limitations or talent. Okay, Vince, relax. I think he's begun to prove himself beyond that first couple of years where everyone's like, "Ooh, Dak Prescott's a good quarterback." Dak Prescott is a top 12 quarterback in the NFL, and I think he's only going to prove himself even higher than that this season. So I'm very excited to see him back. And it seems like the mass majority of players and media personalities are as well. I mean, he is just such a liked person, it seems to be, within the NFL circles and media circles. So was really excited to see that. I'm very excited to see his progression through OTAs and then obviously in camp and then the start of the season. I think this team also is going to keep 5 linebackers. I don't know if that's crazy, but they're going to keep, obviously, Micah Parsons, Jabril Cox, Leighton Vander Esch. Seems like Jaylon Smith. And then Keanu Neal is listed as a linebacker as well. Cox.
When you draft 2 and sign 1 in free agency, you kind of have no choice but to keep 5.
And
especially when you just committed money to another one.
But you did not pick up the 5th-year option on the other former first-round pick linebacker. So I'm interested to see how they play those. It seems that Jaylon Smith's playing the Sam. Leighton and Mike have been playing the Will, and then the Mike linebacker has been Keanu Neal a bit. And he also is going to play some safety. So no one fully knows yet what Dan Quinn wants and what Dan Quinn is going to do with all these guys. And I think they want it that way, and they're going to keep it that way for a long time. The other thing with Jaylon Smith is it seems that he is switching his number back to his old college number 9. And
you're thrilled about that, right?
Pumped. So excited. He gets to wear Tony Romo's old jersey. And he's just, it's only going to be for a year, so it's not that bad because he's not going to be on the Cowboys after next year unless all of a sudden his knee regenerates and he learns how to turn sideways and figures out how to read offenses and doesn't swipe after making tackles 15 yards downfield when you're down 27-17. But beyond that, it's not that bad. But did you hear, I was talking to Vince, so he's switching from 54 to 9. He called Tony Romo and had a conversation with him. Romo gave him the blessing. But did you hear what Jerry Jones is making Jaylon do?
Yeah. So he has to buy out all of the inventory of the 54 jerseys.
Around $500,000 worth.
Switch. That is insane. There is no number in the world that would make me want to buy out the inventory of those jerseys. And also, a billionaire telling me to do it? Go screw yourself. Like you're worth 1 zillion times what I'm worth. The gap between $1 million and $1 billion, and Jerry Jones is a multi-billionaire. Screw you. Not a chance would I let that guy tell me to do that.
He's kind of your boss.
I don't care.
I mean, I think it's pretty funny. I would love to talk to Jaylon and be like, all right, so what are we doing with the jerseys? Are you signing them and auctioning them? Or are you signing them and giving them away to sick kids, or sending them to countries where they need clothes? Like are you just gonna put them in your house?
I was gonna say he's gonna have a room in his house that's all 54 jerseys. Like anytime he has a party, he's like, everyone go up and take a jersey. You know how sometimes you give out bottle of wine, like when you have like a dinner get together, party favor. Your party favor is just gonna be a 54 Jaylon Smith jersey on the way out the door.
You imagine that's what he gives everybody for every Christmas, Hanukkah, birthday, wedding. He just gives a jersey every year.
Yeah. It's a signed Jaylon Smith jersey. Oh, you gave me this last time. No, that was white. This one's the blue.
Maybe next year you'll get the Thanksgiving Day jersey.
I was gonna say you get the Thanksgiving edition.
Oh God. But so that's pretty much what's happening in Cowboys land. It seemed that both tackles, Lyle Collins and Tyron Smith, both were there for full participation. Zeke practiced on Monday, was not there on Tuesday. Amari Cooper also did not practice on Tuesday. Blake Jarwin's making his way back as well. So it seems like things are meshing together. I don't know. Can we talk about Dan Orlovsky too? I'm so sick of his shtick. He just always, like, now all of a sudden he's like, Cowboys are the third best team in the division. The Giants are well better than them, and Washington. Like, made it seem, and he just always he plays a shtick, like anti-Cowboys. I get it, but the Cowboys are better than the Giants, I believe.
Oh, this puts me in such a tough place because I like Dan. My brand is also anti-Cowboys, but I just refuse to say anything nice about the Giants right now. So I don't know. I'm in a between a rock and a hard place trying to decide on this. Well, he is very good at film breakdown, and he's a great college football analyst. You know what the problem is with all these guys on Get Up and Undisputed and First Take? They go on these shows and these producers tell them, okay, give me the hottest take that makes no sense and say it on air and make yourself look like an idiot, but it'll give us a lot of views and ratings. And if I just don't get it because he's so good at other stuff.
Yep. And he makes himself look like an idiot on these shows.
Yeah, just because why? Because the producer told you to. If he actually gave his genuine opinion because he's so smart, I'd be more inclined to watch.
Yep. All right. That's all I got Cowboys wise.
I still can't get over like what a bad investment it is to buy out all of your jerseys just to wear a certain jersey.
There it is.
I thought Pat McAfee and Dan were friends.
They are. I think he's just like making fun of like how Pat is.
Yeah. But yeah, that wraps it up for everything I had. Eagles minicamp. I just can't get over the fact. I've never heard of that before where he had to buy out the inventory of jerseys. That's such a bad investment. There's no number that's worth it. I'm sorry. Like, even if you give me like a sob story that like my grandpa wore 9 and he was in World War II and he was my hero, like even then, spending $500,000. Like, this is why athletes go broke. Like, this is those 30 for 30s where you're like, oh, how is it that 60% of all these athletes are bankrupt after they're 5 years within they're done? Like, that's why. Because you spent $500,000 on jerseys that no one's ever going to wear.
They did that to LeBron and AD.
What?
They did that to LeBron and AD. Remember, they're trying to switch numbers and they didn't let them because it would have cost too much in jersey sales.
That was different, though.
Well, because they didn't, like, LeBron wasn't going to buy all those jerseys back.
Yeah, LeBron's the top selling jersey in the NBA, and AD is probably top 10. Jaylon Smith doesn't crack the top 100 jersey sales in the NFL.
There's probably a few more LeBron jerseys than Jaylon Smith.
Yeah.
Well, I think Jerry just knows those jerseys are never going to sell anyway. So he's just making his money back.
I don't like Jerry.
Jaylon has not performed up to his contract. So Jerry gave him a very lucrative contract. He's just getting some of that back now because performance has been terrible.
If you're Jaylon Smith's agent, aren't you saying like, no, don't do this? Doesn't he have a financial advisor who would be like, okay, here's the amount of money that we're going to spend this year?
He doesn't care. He owns cryo places and sunglass huts, and he's all about his brand. He doesn't care about playing football. He's the biggest me brand guy. So this is 9 is his brand, and he's worn 9 since he was 9 years old. He said he even fucking started wearing 9 at 9. So
I feel like as a brand guy, you'd be less inclined to spend money.
I don't know if it's actually $500,000. I feel like it's got that number has to be inflated. I'm sure we'll get an actual number because why would they have that many jerseys already printed anyway? But I guess around the world, I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of jerseys out there. Think of all the different places that sell jerseys.
Yeah,
that's probably why. Oh well, that was my main takeaway from Cowboys. So anything else before we head into our TikTok with Julio Jones?
No, it's just like you said, it's fun to actually see football players on a football field again, even if not everybody's doing it. It seemed the other nice thing for our two teams, it seems like we have a lot of our big names that are actually there. Where other teams like in Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams aren't there. Dak's there. Your Bama guys are there. So it makes it even more interesting for us.
Yeah. Well, when everyone's in year 1 or 2, you have to show up.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you're right. Everyone, like even we saw Brandon Brooks back on the field today, and he missed the entire last season. So it was pretty cool seeing everybody out there. I enjoyed it. And spring football is just cool. It's just like throw around. It's a chill vibe. Throw around the ball. Everyone looks good in shorts. So it was fun. Fresh vibes, good vibes, positive vibes only.
Positive vibes. All right. Let's bring Vince in here. We'll do our TikToks, and then we'll get out of here. Nice, quick and easy show, just like producer Vince likes to produce. So our top TikToks, TikTok famous, brought to you by Stateside Vodka, but even though most of you TikTokers watching aren't old enough to drink. So today we are doing top 5 destinations for Mr. Julio Jones. All right. My list is where I would like to see him go.
Mine too.
That, I don't know. Mine is a combination of places I think he will go and where I would like him to go. It's a healthy mix. I described it to you as like fruit salad.
I think my top 5 are actually very viable options, though. So,
yeah. Okay. I think mine are pretty viable too. It's just I did not look up any like money. I don't think any of us did. So let me preface this TikTok. Put this in the TikTok.
Everyone's cap space would have to change in order to take on his contract. So don't comment, but it wouldn't work with the money. Nobody's salary cap would work with the money right now to take on his contract. We know.
Actually,
they'd have to work on it.
Do comment that because it'll drive the algorithm. But
yes, actually put my part in there and then comment it anyway.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna
everyone just comment money. Doesn't work. Money.
So we're gonna go from 5 to 1 as we always do, and we'll go in the triangle. So Aidan, you have the floor.
All right, at 5, I have the Seahawks. I just think selfishly, I'd like to see DK Metcalf and Julio Jones on the same field because they are superhumans, and that would be kind of funny to see them on the same team.
As always, Aidan and I have formed one brain. Number 5 for me is the Seattle Seahawks because I think him and DK Metcalf would be awesome. I would love to see Russell Wilson throwing him a deep ball, and I think he would look pretty sick in their jerseys.
I actually had the Seahawks on my list, and they got bumped for a team that's coming later in my list. But at 5, I have the Browns. I think it would just be fun to have Julio, Odell, Jarvis Landry all on one team. I think it would be a lot of drama, a lot of fun to watch.
At 4, I have the Eagles because there's no way I was going to do this rankings without putting the Eagles. I don't know why or how it works, but it's the Eagles. So, yeah, Julio to the Eagles.
4 for me is the Buffalo Bills. I think he would be a great fit up there. Him and Stephon Diggs together with Allen slinging it around. They're contenders already. I think he would help put them over the top. And if he wants to go to a winner, they're winning up in Buffalo.
4, I have your Cowboys. I think after that whole debacle with Shannon Sharpe, it'd be real funny to watch him play for the Cowboys because all the fans would hate him. And he just,
they wouldn't.
Like we said, he just wouldn't care. He would just show up and play every week. Also, I know I'm an Eagles fan, but that'd be a fun offense to watch.
But who would they get? Would they trade Amari Cooper straight up for him? Like, I don't, just doesn't. But whatever. That's why these are the TikToks.
Yeah, like I didn't look up any. We're not doing money here. We're doing fun.
Fantasy.
All right. At 3, I have the Rams. If he's serious about winning, that's a contender that you could go to. They are hosting the Super Bowl this year. So there you go. And also, Matt Stafford. You should throw to Calvin Johnson, Megatron. Next best thing probably would be Julio Jones. So if we could have a Matt Stafford Julio connection, that'd be cool.
Number 3 for me, the Los Angeles Rams, because of course it is, because that's what Aidan put there as well. I think Stafford throwing it to Julio would be phenomenal. Imagine Cooper Kupp on the other side, and I would just love to see what Sean McVay could do to get Julio Jones the ball.
Number 3, I've done this on one of our other lists maybe a few months ago. I have the Falcons. I kind of want to see him not go anywhere and just see how the season plays out with him not wanting to be there.
Mm-hmm. That would actually be really funny. After admitting on national TV, I'm out of there.
Yeah, him just having to catch balls from Matt Ryan after he's like, I'm out of there.
Yep. Gonna be an awkward time. All right, at 2, I have the Cardinals. They seem to be openly recruiting him. I think that'd be a nasty quad of receivers with Julio, DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk, and the GOAT, Chase Edmonds. As the running back.
I had they just made my honorable mention too. So the Cardinals, they were 6 for me. 2 for me is the Green Bay Packers. I would love to see him go up there. I think it would keep Aaron Rodgers happy. Him and Devontae Adams would that's fantasy football if Aaron Rodgers is slinging around to those two. So I think he would also look pretty dirty in a Packers jersey. So give me the Packers at 2.
That's the golden state of football if he goes there, I think.
Oh, God.
Number 2, I have the Giants. I think the Giants know that the Eagles always want their guy, and the Eagles took Devontae Smith from them. So I feel like the Giants are going to do something stupid and go get Julio Jones, even though the Eagles weren't really interested.
That'd actually be pretty funny now. I
That
think
would
about
be.
it.
The Giants, they're going to cut off their nose to spite their face, as the old saying goes, which feels very Giants.
Yeah. Until they're actually good with Julio. It's like, they sure showed us.
Damn.
All right. At 1, I have the Patriots because nothing of their offseason would surprise me at this point. I know he lobbied to go there, but also they've been on such a spending spree that I would not be surprised if they made a move for him.
So my number 1 team, I'm surprised here that Aidan did not have this team on the list at all. Salary cap, they could definitely make it work. They could also make it work possibly with draft picks, but it depends on what happens with their number 1 pick for this year. But it's the Colts. I mean, I would love to see him and Pittman and maybe T.Y. put Julio around Carson Wentz on that team. I think they're in the AFC Championship game if he stays healthy. I think he would be phenomenal with Carson. And again, Indy always has those good Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne. He just fits that mold. He would look good as a Colt.
Can't believe we're doing this. We have the same answer at number 1. I have the Colts as well. So in all honesty, I originally had the Eagles, but I was like, they can't afford to pay him while they're paying a quarterback that's on another team. And I'm like, oh, wait, there's a team that's not paying a quarterback that's on their own team. He can go there.
Mm-hmm. The only thing is I know that they want a first-round pick, and this doesn't have to be in the TikToks, and I'm confused on like the Colts wouldn't be able to trade this year's first-round pick, correct? Because it's a contention to the Eagles if he plays.
That's
they
what I
couldn't
was
just
thinking.
trade that away because then the Eagles would be like, hold on. That's ours?
Yeah, they're in a weird spot because even the second round pick, like they don't know if it's going to be a second or a first round pick.
First.
So like, how do you trade either one for next year?
I guess it would have to be the year after and maybe something else.
And if you're Atlanta, like, are you trading for a 2023 first or second round pick? I guess if you got a first round pick, yeah, but like a 2023 second round pick for your all time leading receiver, probably not.
You're trading for a kid that's in high school.
But I was listening to Peter Schrager too, and he's usually pretty good. And he does think that they want to keep him happy, kind of almost like Matt Stafford, where they send him, not to an even shittier team than Detroit, but they're not going to send him to like a Detroit or a bad team. He wants to win. They want to keep that relationship and that, simpatico-ness so that he can be a Atlanta legend forever, even after he retires and comes back and retires as a Falcon.
He's not
That's
going to
fair.
do that.
I mean,
why?
Why what?
Why do they care? Why do they care if he's happy? He doesn't like them.
It will make them money down the line, always. Julio Jones jerseys, all that.
also, if you've put in the 9 years of having to endure the Atlanta Falcons, you should just have a wish list, like a genie with 3 wishes, and you're granted anything.
Not Detroit, not Detroit, not Detroit.
And like probably not Jacksonville or Houston.
Have they ever had a good player leave their team like on a good note?
Who, Atlanta?
Yeah. Did Dion leave? Was it Sybil?
Matt Schaub.
We're talking about good players.
I think he's still on the team.
I think he is back. Didn't he? Because he left and then became the starter for Houston, right?
Then he came back and he was the backup after that. And I think he just
the
retired.
next 40 years.
Yeah.
I love
Former
Matt Schaub.
quarterback.
Still could
17
sling it.
seasons.
It's crazy. All right. Yeah, that's all I got.
He was on the Falcons from 2016 to 2020. You guys were right.
And before, where he started in Atlanta, right?
04 to 06.
And then he was in Houston?
From 07 to 13, 14 with the Raiders, 15 with the Ravens.
Ooh, forgot about those. So
It is insane how much useless football knowledge we have stored in our heads.
right up here. Right in the brain.
All right. Well, my voice is going because I, like a workhorse, I've had to talk for 2 whole hours.
Yep.
So
You did it.
I did it. What a feat and accomplishment.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Next week, like we said, we have Rob Ellis on. Really excited for that. I kicked his butt last year in the Branded Sports Chip-Off Championship golf outing. Whooped his butt in the first round. No big deal. But he's a great guy. He's a lot of fun to talk to. He's just a guy's guy, and he'll just come in here and talk shop, which I'm really excited about. And those are the type of guys that we always like to have on, or gals like Lindsay. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, on YouTube, Spotify, OnlyFans, wherever you want. We're there. So this was episode 60 of Birds vs. Boys. We will catch you next week.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds vs. Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach. That
Be
it?
the team you promised me you were going to be this year!
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.